What I'm going to say was that oh, thank you. I thought I can't resist showing this photo from Transport Scotland, which shows the famous Forth Bridge, opened 1889, and then the Forth Road Bridge, 1964, and the Queensferry Crossing just opened last year, spanning a period of 130 years. The three of them there standing side by side, showcasing engineering innovation to deal with the challenges of their times. This morning, the President showed this, the change in Hong Kong in the last 40 years. And Shanghai did it in 20 years, give or take. And with that rapid change, rapid development in urbanization and the speed of urbanization brings all kinds of challenges and opportunities. Traditionally, our industry's innovation and improvement are prompted by demands, have largely been incremental, project-based, and unit disciplinary. But nevertheless, they have been bringing a lot of benefit to the industry. That is now. But it is the disruptive digital transformation which is bringing all the opportunities and unlimited opportunities there for making some exciting progress. The government here, of course, mandated that starting this year that all public works would have to adopt BIM. And largely up till now, one is dealing with 3D and trying for 4D, which is time and construction schedule, 5D costs and quantity takeoff. At least one enlightened client in Hong Kong in the building industry and Arab started doing 6D, which is sustainability, if you like, quality takeoff, and 7D, which is asset management. But BIM is not just a way of collaboration. BIM, the value of it is in collecting the data throughout the life of the building or the facility. And after you collect that data, you can then apply AR or mixed reality to help you communicate and to improve your design process. And this one is actually part of the visualization of a 6D BIM showing the airflow around a group of new buildings, how the effect of introducing them to the city. But also other tools are being developed. This one, the computational design of tall buildings, it actually combines all kinds of software, doing the optioneering optimization at frightening speed. And this one, for example, went through 850 schemes of design at less than a quarter of the time taken by a traditional design process with all its implication. And at the same time, going through that process, the drawings are being produced as well. It's synchronized. So these are very, very powerful tools of the digital world helping us to do our work. And similarly, there are tools now being developed for urban design, new towns and so on, where you take into account sustainability factors, green cover, heat island, and so on, which you then use virtual reality techniques to communicate with the public. This morning, someone mentioned about co-creation and so on, that you involve the citizens in seeing what happened, call it digital twin or whatever, seeing the stuff before the infrastructure or the new town is built. This morning we hear a lot about smart, green, and resilience and so on. In fact, all over the world, hundreds of cities have exchanged ideas and so on. Lots of solutions being done to achieve a lower carbon, higher livability, less resources being used, safer, and so on. But really, it is my opinion that we need to treat city as a system, or rather a system of subsystems. And you look at it to go for integrated solutions. And it is easy to see that in fact the design and operation of these infrastructures are related. For example, if you do a certain piece of infrastructure, they affect each other in terms of resources and energy or land or water and so on. So for example, if you co-locate a wastewater plant with energy consuming water treatment plant and so on, you can see the dividend in energy dividends that it can bring in. But if we go for these integrated solutions, we need the various disciplines in the built environment industry to come together to achieve what I call total design solutions. And what better than a good example from Hong Kong to think system thinking to what we call rail plus property, or rather now called transit-oriented development in Hong Kong, by mixing mixed-use development with multimodal transport facilities. And these concepts are being used in China, for example, in Guangdong province, in Fushan, of 54 stations there. You could see the energy effect or impact if they are properly implemented. So these are being planned and implemented at the moment. Similarly, if you go, here's a conceptual plan of a zero waste arrangement by locating the various treatment plants and then the product of these plants get fed into urban farming and then integrating it to transport system of the future, and also locating the food product market, and then whatever waste comes out of that would then get fed back into the plant as well. And so you can imagine doing that sort of system thinking and design would help greatly. And actually, it's not always that we have greenfield to start with. And this morning someone mentioned about adaptation. And yes, in the future, we will have to design our infrastructure by integrating the different systems here, the circular economy, the urban transformation, and also smart city where you start collecting all the data. I'd like to make one point specifically for Hong Kong. I think we need, if we want to go for a smart city and so on, we need a common spatial data platform where different layers, you have territory-wise of Hong Kong, you have all the data there, the buildings, the planning plan, the utilities, the roads, and so on. And so you can extract it quickly and so on. And for example here, a 3D of the building use of a particular district, in this case, Kowloon East. And if you then add real-time data to that, you can see the unlimited opportunity for innovation for the city. And this is an example of the power of combining BIM with GIS data, taking the existing borehole data and the foundation data from the system, and then designing, fitting in the tunnels and the station there. That way, it is more than just BIM, and that is the future of how we should do these things with the help of that system. Now, looking forward, though, innovation, in my opinion, we should, as an industry, look forward and anticipate the future. Anticipate the future by getting together and visioning together and identifying megatrends, best example in the world, building up a database, and then engage everybody to work out the strategy for the innovation, the gaps, and then devising the solution themselves. Here, my Arab colleagues have gone through with stakeholders what will be the future of rail like, highways like, urban water in future like, and buildings and so on. If you go through all that and build up a database, and then you share it with all the stakeholders, if you like, to co-create the future together, anticipate the future together, and decide what to innovate. And for example, last month well, maybe the month before, we hold a forum in Germany looking at blockchain technology and how it will relate to the built environment industry. And then if you took the 20 emerging technology, and the providers of these technologies would need to work with the domain experts of the built industry, built environment, and the built environment industry itself will grow both in breadth and in depth. And this is how tech firms work. They co-create, and this is, in fact, Huawei's entrance. You could see them working with many companies to co-create their products and so on. So in Arab, we try also to do the same. The size of these bubbles actually reflects the amount of interaction we have with the various stakeholders, including venture capitalists and so on. We hope some of the ideas can be taken up and then investors from outside to help co-create together. And one example of that is we work with DJI, the drone maker, and Pix4D from Switzerland on image processing to quickly and accurately terrain map a new place, and then to generate city modeling by putting in the infrastructures and so on. And that helps in the public consultation. My time is up. I'd just like to finish by saying I have tried to advocate we need system thinking and total design solution. But for that, we need a common spatial data platform. And secondly, I feel that we should anticipate the future instead of project-based innovating. So we need to co-create together with our disciplines as well as outside our industry. And maybe if we look further ahead, we will be looking at the blockchain of circular BIM things. Thank you very much.